Imagine you are sitting around a flickering campfire deep in the forest tens of thousands of years ago. In the arms of a young mother belonging to your tribe, a tiny creature has just been born. The red newborn has its eyes tightly closed, crying loudly, but its limbs flail in despair, completely unable to do anything on its own. The bewilderment is evident on your face and those around you. Why is this creature so incredibly helpless? The real shock hits when you look at the wild animal kingdom. A young foal can stand on its own 2 feet just a few minutes after birth. However, we humans, the species that dominates the earth, take a whole grueling year just to take our first wobbly steps. The helplessness of human babies compared to most other animals is an incredibly harsh truth. So, why do humans give birth to such fragile babies? Did nature make a mistake when creating us? Before we travel back in time together to find the answer, if you love exploring the mysteries of human history, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is a massive motivation for us to make more high-quality videos. Returning to our distant ancestors, the primitive apes living on the majestic African savannas and forests. To survive and escape from predators, our ancestors learned to walk upright on 2 legs. This immense leap helped us move more nimbly, but it came with a very heavy price, which is that the female pelvis was significantly narrowed. At the same time, the human brain underwent an explosive growth in size, increasing from about 400 cubic centimeters to 1,300 cubic centimeters. These 2 factors created one of the greatest evolutionary tragedies called the obstetrical dilemma. Just think about it. The increasingly larger brain made the baby head bigger, while the birth canal became narrower due to the mother having to walk upright on 2 legs. This conflict forced nature to make a cruel compromise. That is, babies had to be born earlier than expected, when their heads were still small enough to fit through the pelvis. Modern scientific studies have proven this. While a newborn chimpanzee is born with a brain that is 45% developed, a human baby is born when its brain size has only reached about 25% compared to the brain size of an adult. The child is forced to leave the womb at the 9th month, in a state that many scientists call being born halfway. However, the pelvic limit is not the only reason. Some researchers argue that the root cause lies in the energy limit of the mother. The developing brain of the fetus consumes a massive amount of calories. Prolonging the pregnancy for another 1 to 2 months for the baby to be sturdier would push the energy expenditure of the mother beyond the limit of endurance. The maternal body can no longer provide enough energy to nourish the fetus, so the baby is forced to come out to start absorbing energy through breast milk. But this immaturity opens up a miracle called the plasticity of the brain. Being born early helps the infant brain continue to develop extremely strongly outside the womb, directly absorbing stimuli from the environment and learning language. At the same time, the helplessness of infants forced prehistoric humans to form the habit of carrying and holding their children. Evidence is that archaeologists have found 10,000-year-old infant graves in Italy where the child was carefully buried with slings made of woven fabric, proving that prehistoric people carried children everywhere. But there is a highly surprising issue that you need to know. We used to think that the pain and difficulty in childbirth was the exclusive privilege of modern humans. However, recent studies indicate that even ancient female apes sometimes needed the help of their peers when giving birth. That proves humanity is not alone in the suffering of childbirth. This evolutionary tragedy had begun long before we truly became human. From the story of a helpless child, we see a greater picture of human society. It is the exact helplessness of infants that forced us to abandon a solitary lifestyle to bond together. Parents, siblings, grandparents, and the entire tribe must share the burden of raising them. That helplessness has connected a narrow pelvis with the wide open heart of an entire community. If a baby was born able to stand up and run to find food like other animals, would maternal love, family affection, and our brilliant cultures have ever been formed? Therefore, human babies are born helpless because we need to balance between a giant brain and a narrow pelvis to walk upright, while taking the opportunity for the brain to develop strongly outside the womb. Our brains are big, our bodies are small, the gestation period is shortened, so we are forced to be fragile at birth. Now, let us return to the flickering fire in the dark night tens of thousands of years ago. You look back at the young mother holding her red newborn, but now you no longer see confusion or fear. The mother smiles gently and affectionately, presses the child to her breast, and the people in the tribe begin to gather around, passing the child around to warm that tiny creature. The things we once mistakenly thought were a cruel joke of nature turn out to be the greatest masterpiece of evolution and love. It seems that from the very first moment of crying at birth, humans were born to be embraced and protected, not to walk alone by themselves.